Thank you, Lynn. And I also just want to take a brief moment to thank our sponsors for this luncheon, the National Cable and Telecommunications Association, Comcast, and Time Warner Cable. Thank you very much for providing the sponsorship for this lunch. To continue highlighting these stories, these powerful stories, we're so thankful, as Lynn mentioned, to partner once again with the Vernon K. Krieble Foundation for our Unsung Hero Award. This award recognizes really everyday people that do something extraordinary to further the cause of liberty. It's our goal, and our partner's goal, that by recognizing these types of heroes and unleashing their story, telling their story, so many others from across the country will be inspired to take that. To share more about this award, to tell you more about why they're doing it and the power behind it, it's really my privilege to welcome to the stage the founder and president of the Vernon K. Krieble Foundation and a tremendous freedom fighter, Ellen Krieble.
Thank you very much for that nice introduction. As Americans, citizenship is probably one of our most important, our most precious possessions. And we have certain unalienable rights from our founding documents, which we all know: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We've created governments whose sole responsibility is to protect these rights. And when we see government failing to protect our freedoms, or instead seeking to take it away or to impinge on it, it's our responsibility as responsible individuals, as we the people, to stop such actions, for government ultimately works for us, and our freedom is in our own hands as individuals. There aren't many of us who can call the national government to task, but each of us as citizens can influence the course of freedom in our own communities, our counties, and sometimes even in our states. Those who do, who set out to stop small tyrannies or to advocate for our most important principles in their communities, are few. They are often ignored and criticized, but they keep on refusing to allow freedom to be diminished. To honor these people, the VKK Foundation initiated the Unsung Hero Award. Through SPN, requests for nominations were sent out to think tanks and organizations all over the country, and many wonderful candidates were identified. Our winner this year is Jason Moore. He was nominated by Peggy Venable, who's the Texas Director for Americans for Prosperity. In her nomination, she said, "Jason is a man who doesn't care who gets credits as long as the job gets done. He has worked tirelessly for no compensation for the principles of limited government, free market policies, and entrepreneurship. Jason has attended endless city, county, and school board meetings to hold officials accountable for how they spend taxpayers' money. He has testified before the State Board of Education about the lack of free market materials in public school textbooks. He's testified before the Texas House Public Education Committee on the grandiose facilities that are built as schools and waste taxpayer dollars. And he has his own radio talk show where he has volunteered his time to give voice to taxpayer advocates." Jason? You're so little, it was hard to see you. Jason is the epitome. Jason is the epitome of the watchdog for our freedom. And we are honored and privileged to give him the $25,000 award that comes with this Unsung Hero initiative that we have begun. Jason, it's our honor. Nominees for next year, please get them in. We'd really love to hear about these fabulous people.
All right, thank you. I'm glad to be here from New York City. I'm kidding. I've only been there once. No, I'm from West Texas, home of big oil, where we believe that windmills and solar panels are for sissies. I really am honored by the award, and although it's been hard for me to kind of be accepting of it, because I honestly feel like my wife Audra and my 5 kids are really the unsung heroes, because I take so much time away from them to go do the things that I do. And the beauty of it is my 5 kids are now part of the fight as well. And of course, around Midland, Odessa, I'm known as Captain Watchdog. But one day it was pointed out to me that Audra's Colonel Watchdog, she outranks me. So she is the brains of the operation, keeps the family going, and just being able to bounce ideas off of her has been tremendous in my life. Quickly, again, I couldn't be here today if it wasn't for Peggy Venable of Americans for Prosperity. I work most closely with her and Americans for Prosperity in doing the things that I do, and she's provided me with so much intellectual firepower, I call it. And one of the things that all of you need to understand is that those of us on the front lines are like guns without bullets a lot of times. We show up ready to fight, but if we don't have the intellectual firepower to put the ammo in the gun. By the way, all analogies and parables in Texas start with guns. So without those bullets in the gun, you can't be real effective. So knowing that when I walk down these halls and I see all the different groups represented, and I told my wife today, I gotta go get another suitcase so I can take all this material home with me to be more empowered. Because I can take that material, hand it to elected officials when I'm there testifying, and enlighten them, because too many of us have believed for too long that these guys are the end-all, no-all, be-all orbs of politics, and really they know less than most of us do. So the work you do here at State Policy Network and all the groups represented are so important to those of us on the front lines, and I just want you to know that. I also, between all the other stuff I do, I actually own 2 construction businesses. So every now and then I check in with the business to see how it's going. But taking the knowledge, and one thing I want to remind all of you, take the knowledge that you have, the skill, the expertise that you have in your own world, and apply it and lend it to those that are in government. As someone who's in construction, I often take that knowledge of construction and say, look, there's a cheaper, easier way to do what you're doing. And too many in government today suffer from golden plaque syndrome. They want to see their name on a golden plaque in a new building. And those of us that are in construction have a duty to show them a cheaper, easier way to do it. So that's kind of what I do on the front lines. The other thing I do that I think is probably more important is that I teach my kids every day, not just what I believe as a parent, what my wife and I believe as parents, but why we believe what we believe. And after the elections and the boys and I are driving to school one morning, I said to them, you know, we're in a different place in America, boys. And I'm going to tell you this right now, all the me getting on your case about feeding your room, doing all these things are important because you don't want to be part of a nation that's of the taker class that thinks, you know, I can just do whatever I want to whenever I want to. And I coined the phrase that morning. I said, I'm going to write a book about this someday. You can't save a nation if you can't clean your room. It really is that simple, and it starts that young in life. If they don't know what they believe, they don't know why they believe it, then we have a nation that, you know, that we're bringing up right now that's going to be clueless on how to save a nation when it goes off track. And lastly, I just want to say that I guess my best gift that I can offer to my local government when I'm trying to impact it is, again, working within who I am, and it's taking situations and turning them to my advantage when at all possible, and injecting humor when I can, because it helps defray the the bad feelings that can happen in politics. And I was reminded of that as a Texan, of course, I see the world a little bit differently, and I've realized over the years that the world sees me differently. And I was reminded when I went to Pennsylvania, was in fact Peggy Billable, and during a national race in 2004. So I'm in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, and I'm handing out propaganda, and I look just about like this. And two activists, high school kids, and we're outside a football stadium, and these two teenage girls come walking up to me in fatigues. And I'm thinking, this is going to be interesting. And they're both about this stuff. And they come walking up to me and they said, we'll give you our propaganda. We'll take your propaganda if you'll read ours. And I said, okay. So we exchanged stuff. And I'm thinking, oh, this might be an opportunity for me to win these young people to the right side of thinking. And so they hand me this brochure, and I'm looking at it, and it's from PETA. As we know in Texas, people eating tasty animals. And so I flipped through the brochure, and it's all of these graphic pictures of animals being slaughtered, and I quietly flipped through every page dutifully, and they're all looking up at me. I signaled the brochure, and I said, what is this, a menu? They yanked the brochure from my hand, and one turns to the other and says, you idiot, he's from Texas, they eat meat there. That's when I realized just how different we're looked at by the rest of the world. But again, take what you know, take the resources that are available by the great organizations represented here today, use it to your advantage, and have conversations, have dialogue with your local elected officials, because I keep saying that the same thing with the whole room thing. If you can't change City Hall, you cannot change Congress. And the local government is the training ground for activists to say, okay, I know I can do it here, now let me take it to the next level. And what you guys do here, the people represented in this room, provide us so much information that we could never do on our own. Please keep doing what you're doing so that there's 10 million more of me out there using your materials. Thank you.